same. Welcome back to my channel Wagon Picks. Hope you are all doing great. I'm very much happy to be with you all again on this platform with a very interesting topic called Redux. Okay, this is very interesting as well as this is very much important because Redux is a concept using which we will manage our state in a React application. So what do I mean by managing state? We'll go through the points which we'll be covering in this topic. But before that, I would request to all to please like and share my videos, and also please subscribe my channel. This will certainly encourage me to create more content on this topic. Okay, so the points which we'll be covering in this tutorial are prop drilling. So we'll see, we have already seen in our previous tutorial what is prop and how prop is passed to another component. So in this we will see what is prop drilling. Second point which we'll be going through is need of Redux. Why do we need Redux? Third point which we'll be covering is Redux store configuration. So once we know the requirement of Redux, we need to configure that into a React application before using. The fourth point which we'll be covering is how to store data into a store and how to fetch that data from the Redux store into a component. Okay, these are the points which we'll be covering in this tutorial. So to tell you, like, Redux is considered as very tough topic. It was considered tough earlier, but now we will be using a package called Redux Toolkit, which is the latest Redux package, and this has made our life very easy. It is very easy to understand, and also configuration is very easy. So earlier configuration was a little bit tough, so you will be able to understand what is actually happening. Okay, so be with me till the end of this tutorial. I will explain you in detail all the steps. Okay, to understand the first topic, prop drilling, I have already created a base file over here. So index.js is the base file, and in this base file I have child imported this app.js. So app.js, what I have done is I have defined a heading over here, and I have one more child to this app uh, called child component, and I have just displayed a content we are in child component. So this is the parent component, okay, and also the base file, and this is app.js is child to index, okay, and child out component is child to app.js. So this is the top parent, this is the child, and this is the grandchild. Okay, so now what we will do is we will pass a prop from app.js to child component. Okay, so how will we do that? We have seen this earlier. So I will define a text. We are from parent. Okay, this is the string which I am passing as a prop to child component, and name of this prop is text. Okay, so when I pass this as text to a child component, and this child component I have to receive that prop. So how will I do that? We'll just type it over here, and in this I will define a new paragraph, and in this paragraph I will just use that text. Okay, so now let us see. Here we are, the heading in the app, we are in child component, okay, and we are from parent component. Got this point? So the text, this which is reflecting at the bottom, this is the prop which we had received in the child component. Okay, so now till this point we are clear. Okay, so what actually happens if I want to pass this further, like we pass this from parent to child? What if I have multiple children associated with this parent? What if there are n number of components which are below this child component? Like, I want to pass it to further components. So what I will do is, similarly as I did earlier, I will pass Like as I passed from this parent component as a prop to this component as a to the child component, similarly I will pass it further to this child component. And again, if I want to pass this to further component, I will use the same procedure and I will pass to the destination child. But actually, this is not the correct way to pass the props, because what is happening is whenever I pass a prop to a component, the the component which is getting passed uh, gets rendered. Okay, and when we render the component, it will create a lag, or it will create unnecessarily, it will execute all the steps. So we don't want this. This is not an efficient process to manage the props or state. So this process of passing props from one component to another component, uh, and following the same props passing till the destination child, is called as prop drilling. And this is not a good practice to follow with, because in real life examples, there are n number of components. You know what, the Facebook has around 40 to 50,000 components, and this was 2 years back. They might have added many components, and it might be 70, 80,000 components now. So by passing this props like this, it will certainly create lot of issues, and it is not an efficient way. So what we will do is, uh, React uses Redux package to store the prop into a storage. So what happens is, when I want to pass a prop from one component to another component which is located somewhere else, so in that case what I will do is I will just store the prop into Redux store, and I will pick that prop from the Redux store from to the destination child component. Okay, so this is what Redux does. This avoids the unnecessary prop drilling, and directly we can store the data into Redux store, and from Redux store we can directly pick that data. Okay, so this is the basic concept of Redux, but it is not that easy, like putting data into Redux store and fetching the data from the Redux store, because Redux store, we cannot manipulate the data directly into Redux store. For this purpose, we have slice. Okay, so whenever you want to manipulate a data into store, we need an intermediate component called slice. Okay, so to go ahead with defining slice and store components, before that we need to install the Redux Toolkit package. So for that I will go to my terminal. Let me first have that command. I have this uh, website over here in this. Okay, this is the command which is used to install the Redux Toolkit package. Okay, I will simply come over here. I will stop the execution, and I will install the package. So we are done with the installation. I will just quickly start the server again. npm start. So here we have the server is up. The first step to include Redux in an application is to go to the base file, that is index.js. We need to wrap this division into a provider store. Okay, so this is just an update to tell the application that we will be using Redux store in this application. Okay, so how will I do that? I will quickly come over here, provider store store. Okay, so I will include this division inside this provider. Okay, now the provider is imported, I also need to import the store. Sorry, we need to define the store first, then we can include the store. uh, Next step is to define the slice and store. Okay, so let us name the slice as data.js. Okay, and next component is we need store. Okay, till this point we are clear. So in data.slice, the first import we will do is create side. As we are creating the slice, so we need to import create slice. Okay, we have imported this, and next step is to define the function for the slice. Okay, constant, let us name the function as data slice. Okay, and this is create slice. Okay, and inside this I need to define the name of the state which we are going to store in the Redux store. Okay, so let us name the state as data, and next step is what will be the initial state, what is the default value of this data. Okay, initial state, let us keep this empty string. And third parameter which we will be defining in this function is reducers. Okay, till this point we are clear. Okay, so what is reducer? Reducer is a function that takes current state and an action as an argument. Okay, and returns a new state. That is something confusing, but I will explain you what it is. So till this point we are clear. What we will do is we will now we will configure the store. So in store, the first import is configure store. Configure store from Redux Toolkit. Then I need to export the store. Configure store. Okay, and in this I need to link the reducer with this store. Okay, so this might be something confusing. I will explain you. Just be with me for a while. I will explain you what I have written over here. What is reducer? Uh, Next step is this is the child component and this is the parent component. So what earlier we did was we were passing the string as a prop to the child component. Now what we'll do is we'll store this text into the store, and we will pick this text from the store and we'll display it in child component. We will not pass this as prop now. Okay, so to achieve that, so let me remove this first, and I will define a button over here. So on click of this button, I need to store the data in store. Okay, so on click of this button, I will call a function store data. I will define this function. So in this function, what I have to do is whenever I want to store any value in the Redux store, I have to make use of use dispatch. Okay, so what is use dispatch? I will explain you that. So let us make it set data. Okay, in this I will be passing that string we are from parent component. Okay, and we need to dispatch dispatch event. No, not dispatch event, we need dispatch. Okay, so we need to define this dispatch. So this use dispatch is a hook which is used to transfer the data into the store. Okay, we are using this use dispatch to store the data. And now, and in this we are setting this this we are passing this string as a component as a state. So to quickly take you through the flow chart, so here we have dispatched the value or the data which we are going to store, and this data which we are going to store should be in the reducer. So when I dispatch some data and I am setting up some value, so reducer function will be called. Okay, whenever I am using dispatch and passing some value, the reducer function will be called. So reducer function is something which takes two parameters. Okay, the one is value which we are passing. In our case, the string which we are passing will be in action dot payload. Okay, so it will be stored in action dot payload, and state is the current value which is already existing in store. Okay, so next is we need to define the slice. So how will I do that? So in this set data, this will take two parameters, state, action. Return action dot payload. Okay, so what we are doing here is we are taking this action and we are returning the value action dot payload, and this return value will be stored in store. Okay, so you can see in the flowchart whatever action we are receiving to save the data from slice, we are storing that into store. Okay, because we cannot modify the store data directly. So what slice does, it takes the initial value of this data which will be in state and incoming data into the action dot payload and just return whatever we want to store. Okay, till this point we are clear. Now let us go ahead and export the required data. Export constant, we need to export the set data first, because we are using this to set the data. Data slice dot actions. Next point is to export select data. This is used to print the data. If I want to fetch the data from the store, I will be using select data. This is state. And finally I will be exporting this entire component. export default. This is slice, data slice dot reducer. I need to, okay, now till this point we are clear. And in storage we need to link the store, whatever we have defined in store, with the reducer. So how will we do that? We will name the data, and here we have data reducer. Okay, so this data reducer is need to be imported. Data reducer from data slice. Okay, here we have, and we just need to export the store. Export default store. Okay, so now we have stored the data, and we need to fetch the data into this child component. To fetch the data, now we don't need this prop value. Okay, so to fetch the data we need to define the constant where we will be storing the fetch data. Okay, we need use selector, and thus we need select data. Select data. Okay, we will be taking this from data dot slice. Okay, so now we have configured this. We just need to show the data. So what we'll do, we'll simply come over here. Okay, this is here. So now the configuration is done. Let us see if we are good with the compiling. So we are getting two errors. The first is set data is not defined in app.js. Set data, we are this set data, we need to import this from data slice. Okay, second is store is not defined in index. So in index store is not defined. Okay, we have not taken the path. Okay, now here we are, this is the path which was missing. So now here we are, the button is very small. Let us add something in the button. Child, okay, sorry, app, this is the button, click. So now when I click, see the data got printed. We fetch the data from the store and we print that data on the screen. So what actually happened, when I click on the button, this function will be called, and in this function I am dispatching this string. Okay, earlier we were passing this as prop to this children. Now we will not do that. What we will do is we will just store this into Redux store. So for to store the data we use dispatch is again a hook which is used to store the data. Okay, so when I set this data, what happens is this data triggers reducer. Okay, so this reducer gets called, and whatever data we are passing will come in the action, and state is the current value, okay, which is in store. So now what I will do is I will just return the value whatever is coming from this app as action.payload, and this value is stored in the store. And when this value is stored in the store, this value is used in our child component. We have our child component over here. Here I am using use selector. This is again a hook which is used while fetching the data from the Redux store. Okay, so I have defined use selector and select data. Select data is the data which we have defined in slice. Okay, here we have select data. Okay, we are using this in the child component, and the data which we are receiving, we are printing that data. Okay, so this was all about the Redux. Hope you got all the points. Please let me know if you have any concern or any confusion. I will come up with the solution for your concerns. And also, this was the basic Redux application. Redux can be used for many other complicated purpose. So let me know, comment me in my comment box. I will come up with the other tutorials which are used in for Redux purpose. So thank you so much for being with me on this tutorial. uh, have a great day. Bye bye.